A deafening roar erupted from beneath the earth, shaking cities like a cosmic tantrum. The Zylaxian Swarm, ravenous alien parasites that devour planets, had burrowed into Earth's core, draining its energy to fuel their galactic conquest. Iron Man's suit lit up with alerts, Thor's hammer crackled with lightning, and Superman's eyes glowed red, ready for war. Zylax Prime, the swarm's monstrous leader, a writhing mass of tentacles and glowing eyes, taunted, "Your world's heart belongs to us." 3 heroes, 1 planet, and a battle so intense it'll burn through your screen. Ready for the ride? The ground beneath New York City buckled, skyscrapers swaying like reeds in a storm. A bone-rattling roar erupted from deep within the earth, not an earthquake, but something far worse, an invasion. The Zylaxian Swarm, a horde of parasitic aliens that devoured planets like cosmic locusts, had burrowed into Earth's molten core, their glowing red tendrils siphoning its energy to fuel their galactic war machine. High above, the sky churned black, torn open by a swarm of metallic, insect-like drones, their crimson eyes pulsing with malice. Leading them was Zylax Prime, a monstrous mass of writhing tentacles and glowing orbs, its voice a guttural hiss that echoed across the city. "Your world's heart is ours." Iron Man blasted through the chaos, his Mark 85 suit gleaming red and gold as he weaved between plasma blasts. "Jarvis, give me a count on these glorified roaches." Tony Stark barked, his helmet's HUD flashing with data. "Sir, their numbers are in the thousands and rising," Jarvis replied, voice strained. "Their energy signatures suggest a coordinated assault on the planet's core." Tony smirked. "Well, let's make their day a little less coordinated." He unleashed a barrage of repulsor beams, each shot vaporizing a cluster of drones in bursts of molten sparks. The sky lit up like a 4th of July gone rogue. A bolt of lightning cracked the horizon, and Thor descended, Mjolnir spinning in his grip like a storm incarnate. "Puny insects," he bellowed, his Asgardian voice shaking the air. With a swing of his hammer, a shockwave of electricity obliterated a dozen Zylaxian drones, their metallic husks raining down on Times Square. Thor's eyes crackled with thunder as he scanned the battlefield. "Stark, these creatures are no mere pests. They hunger for Midgard's lifeblood." Before Tony could retort, a red and blue blur rocketed past, punching a hole clean through a massive Zylaxian warship. Superman landed beside them, cape billowing, eyes glowing red with barely contained fury. "They're not just after the surface," he said, voice low. "My X-ray vision shows their leader drilling into the core. We've got hours, maybe less." The trio stood amidst the chaos, Iron Man's tech, Thor's divine might, and Superman's raw power. But even they weren't prepared for the scale of this invasion. The Zylaxian drones weren't just attacking. They were adapting, their armor reflecting Tony's repulsors and absorbing Thor's lightning. Superman's heat vision sliced through them, but for every drone he destroyed, 2 more emerged from glowing portals in the sky. "Okay, boys, time to stop playing whack-a-mole," Tony quipped, dodging a plasma beam that melted a taxi into slag. "We need to hit their source, find the mothership running this circus." Below, the streets were a war zone. Civilians screamed, fleeing as Zylaxian drones fired indiscriminately, their beams carving through concrete like butter. SHIELD agents, led by Nick Fury, fought back with pulse rifles, but they were outmatched. Fury's voice crackled through Tony's comms. "Stark, get your billionaire, but down here and do something. These things are tearing us apart." Tony grinned. "Fury, I'm flattered you miss me, but I'm a little busy saving the planet." He dove, repulsors blazing, clearing a path for S.H.I.E.L.D. to evacuate civilians. Thor, meanwhile, was in his element. He leaped into the air, Mjolnir pulling him like a missile toward a towering Zylaxian war beast, a biomechanical monstrosity with claws that could shred vibranium. "Come, beast. Face the god of thunder." Thor roared, slamming Mjolnir into its chest. The impact sent shockwaves through the city, toppling billboards and shattering windows. The creature screeched, its claws slashing at Thor, but he parried with his hammer, each blow sparking like a supernova. Superman joined the fray, grabbing the beast's tail and hurling it into the Hudson River, where it sank in a plume of steam. "Nice throw, mortal." Thor laughed, clapping Superman on the shoulder. "You fight like an Asgardian." But the real threat was underground. Superman's superhearing picked up a low hum, a rhythmic pulse emanating from the Earth's core. "Zylax Prime is down there," he said, hovering above the heroes. "It's using some kind of machine to drain the planet's magnetic field. If we don't stop it, Earth's core will destabilize, and the planet will implode." Tony's HUD projected a holographic map, pinpointing a massive energy spike beneath Manhattan. "Great, so we're going on a field trip to the center of the Earth," he said, already calculating. "Jarvis, reroute power to the drilling thrusters. Time to get dirty." The trio fought their way to Central Park, where a massive sinkhole had opened, spewing Zylaxian drones like a volcanic eruption. The air was thick with smoke and the stench of scorched metal. Tony activated his suit's heavy artillery, launching micromissiles that exploded in clusters, thinning the swarm. Thor summoned a storm, lightning bolts raining down, frying drones mid-flight. Superman, moving faster than the eye could follow, tore through the enemy ranks, his fists a blur of destruction. But the drones kept coming, their numbers endless, their armor evolving to counter every attack. "These things are learning," Tony shouted, narrowly avoiding a drone that mimicked his repulsor tech. "They're reverse engineering my suit." Thor grunted, smashing another drone with Mjolnir. "Then we fight harder, Man of Iron." Superman, hovering above, spotted a larger portal opening in the sinkhole, a glowing, pulsating rift. "That's their entry point," he said. "If we destroy it, we might cut off their reinforcements." Tony nodded. "Then let's throw a wrench in their interdimensional Airbnb." The heroes dove into the sinkhole, the air growing hotter as they descended. The walls glowed with Zylaxian tech, organic circuits pulsing like veins. At the bottom, they saw it. Zylax Prime, a colossal creature, half machine, half nightmare, its tentacles wrapped around a massive reactor drilling into the Earth's core. Its eyes locked onto the heroes, and its voice boomed. "You cannot stop the swarm. Your world is fuel for our empire." Tony smirked. "Buddy, you picked the wrong planet to snack on." As they prepared to charge, the ground shook again. The reactor hummed louder, and a new wave of drones poured from the portal. These ones bigger, faster, and armed with weapons that mimic Thor's lightning and Superman's heat vision. "They're copying us," Superman warned, dodging a blast that singed his cape. Thor spun Mjolnir, ready for battle. "Let them try. No mimic can match the might of Asgard." Tony activated his suit's nanotech, forming a massive cannon. "Let's see how they like a taste of Stark ingenuity." The fight was on, 3 heroes against an alien god and its unstoppable army. The fate of Earth hung in the balance, and the core was running out of time. Would they stop Zylax Prime before it consumed the planet? Or would the swarm's hunger claim another world? Deep in the sinkhole beneath Central Park, the air burned like a furnace, the walls pulsing with Zylaxian biotech, veins of glowing red circuits snaking toward the Earth's core. Iron Man, Thor, and Superman faced Zylax Prime, a towering alien horror, its tentacles coiled around a reactor draining the planet's lifeblood. The creature's 1,000 eyes glared, its voice a seismic growl. "You are ants before the swarm's might." Tony Stark, hovering in his Mark 85 suit, snorted. "Ants? Buddy, we're the exterminators." The heroes charged, ready to save Earth or die trying. The cavern erupted into chaos. Zylaxian drones, bigger, meaner, and now mimicking the heroes' powers, swarmed from the glowing portal. One fired a bolt of artificial lightning, nearly frying Thor. He spun Mjolnir, deflecting it with a thunderclap that shattered the cavern's stalactites. "Foul mimics!" he roared, hurling his hammer through a drone's chest, the impact sending sparks flying. Superman blurred forward, his fist smashing drones into scrap, but their adaptive armor absorbed his heat vision, redirecting it back at him. He dodged, the beam scorching the wall. "They're evolving too fast," he shouted. Tony's HUD screamed warnings as drones targeted his suit's weak points, their tech copying his repulsors. "Jarvis, reroute power to the nanotech matrix," he barked, his armor morphing into a spiked exosuit. He unleashed a swarm of micromissiles, each one locking onto a drone's core, exploding in bursts of blue fire. "Eat innovation, you cosmic cockroaches," he quipped, but his smirk faded as Zylax Prime's tentacles lashed out, one slamming him into the cavern wall. The impact cracked his armor, sparks flying. "Okay, that hurt," he groaned. Thor leaped into the fray, lightning arcing from his body, frying a dozen drones. "Stark, focus. We must destroy the reactor," he bellowed, slamming Mjolnir into a tentacle. The appendage recoiled, oozing glowing ichor, but Zylax Prime laughed, its voice shaking the cavern. "Your power fuels us," it taunted, as the reactor pulsed brighter, draining Earth's core faster. Superman scanned it with X-ray vision. It's shielded, vibranium-level density. "We need to hit it harder." He flew at the reactor, fists glowing with kinetic energy, but a tentacle swatted him like a fly, sending him crashing through a stalagmite. Above ground, New York was a war zone. Shield choppers battled Zylaxian warships, their plasma beams lighting up the night. Nick Fury's voice crackled through Tony's comms. "Stark, the surface is falling apart. You got a plan, or are we all just barbecue?" Tony, dodging another tentacle, grinned. "Fury, I always got a plan. It's called blow everything up." He activated his suit's uni-beam, a chest-mounted laser that carved through a wave of drones, but Zylax Prime's armor absorbed the blast, growing stronger. "Okay, new plan," Tony muttered. Superman recovered, his eyes blazing. "Together," he shouted, grabbing Thor and Iron Man by their shoulders. The trio launched a coordinated assault. Superman's heat vision, Thor's lightning, and Tony's repulsors hit the reactor in a blinding explosion. The cavern shook, chunks of rock falling, but the reactor held, its shield glowing brighter. Zylax Prime roared, "Fools! Your strength only feeds the swarm." The portal behind it widened, spewing a new wave of drones, hulking, armored beasts with claws mimicking Wolverine's adamantium. Thor's hammer spun faster, his storm intensifying. "We end this now," he yelled, summoning a tornado of lightning that tore through the drones. Superman grabbed a tentacle, ripping it from Zylax Prime's body, green ichor spraying. Tony hacked the reactor's energy signature, his HUD analyzing its weak points. "There's a core inside Facey in the shield," he said. "We hit that, we stopped the drain." But the drones were relentless, forcing the heroes back. A sudden tremor stopped them. Zylax Prime's reactor pulsed, and the cavern began to collapse. "The core is destabilizing," Superman warned. The heroes had seconds to act, or Earth would be lost. The cavern trembled, rocks crashing as the Zylaxian reactor pulsed like a dying star, draining Earth's core. Zylax Prime, a monstrous tangle of tentacles and glowing eyes, loomed over Iron Man, Thor, and Superman, its laughter shaking the walls. "Your planet crumbles," it hissed, as new drones, hulking, clawed mimics of the heroes' powers, poured from the glowing portal. Tony Stark's suit sparked, battered from the last hit. "This guy's ego is bigger than mine," he quipped, dodging a tentacle that pulverized a boulder. "Jarvis, find me a way to crack that reactor." Thor spun Mjolnir, lightning crackling as he smashed a drone's claws, its adamantium-like blades sparking against his hammer. "Stark, less talk, more fight," he roared, unleashing a bolt that fried a dozen drones. Superman, eyes blazing, tore through another, his fists a blur, but the swarm's adaptive armor absorbed his blows, growing stronger. "They're using our energy against us," he shouted, slamming a drone into the cavern floor, the impact sending shockwaves. The reactor's shield glowed brighter, feeding off their attacks. Tony's HUD flickered, analyzing the reactor's core. "There's a weak point, micro fissures in the shield's matrix," he yelled. "We hit it with everything synchronized." But Zylax Prime wasn't waiting. A tentacle lashed out, wrapping around Superman, its grip crackling with stolen Kryptonian energy. Superman grunted, muscles straining as he broke free, hurling the tentacle into the portal. "Nice try," he growled, diving at the reactor, heat vision blazing. Thor followed, Mjolnir trailing lightning, while Tony's nanotech suit morphed into a massive plasma cannon. "Now," Tony shouted. Superman's heat vision, Thor's thunderbolt, and Tony's plasma beam struck the reactor's weak point in a blinding explosion. The shield cracked, sparks flying, but Zylax Prime roared, its tentacles shielding the core. "You delay the inevitable," it bellowed, summoning a swarm of drones that mimicked Thor's lightning, firing bolts at the heroes. Thor deflected them with Mjolnir, but one grazed his shoulder, drawing blood. "These pests dare wound a god," he snarled, diving into the fray. Above, Shield's comms crackled. "Stark, the surface is collapsing." Fury shouted, "Manhattan's sinking." Tony dodged a drone's claw, his suit's thrusters screaming, "Fury, tell me something I don't know." He hacked into the Zylaxian network, his HUD decoding their signals. "Got it. The portal's linked to the reactor. Close it. We cut their reinforcements." Superman nodded, grabbing a drone and using it as a battering ram, smashing through others. "Then we take out the reactor first." Zylax Prime's eyes glowed, and the cavern shook harder, stalactites crashing. The reactor's hum grew deafening, Earth's core destabilizing. Thor summoned a storm, lightning illuminating the cavern as he smashed drones. "We end this, brothers." Superman and Tony flanked him, hitting the reactor again. The shield shattered, exposing the core, a pulsating orb of alien energy. But Zylax Prime lunged, its tentacles blocking their path. "You will not touch it," it roared. Superman grabbed a tentacle, twisting it until it snapped. Tony fired a uni-beam, burning through another. Thor's hammer struck Zylax Prime's core, sending it reeling. The reactor flickered, but the portal widened, spewing a colossal Zylaxian war beast. The heroes braced. The fight was far from over. The cavern roared as the Zylaxian war beast, a biomechanical titan with claws like skyscrapers, erupted from the portal, its glowing maw snapping at Iron Man, Thor, and Superman. Zylax Prime, wounded but defiant, hovered behind the exposed reactor, its tentacles thrashing. "Your world ends now," it hissed as the reactor's orb pulsed, draining Earth's core. Tony Stark's suit sparked, low on power. "This thing's uglier than my first prototype," he quipped, dodging a claw that cratered the ground. Thor spun Mjolnir, lightning crackling. "Beast or god, none withstand Asgard," he roared, hurling his hammer into the war beast's jaw, shattering its teeth in a burst of sparks. Superman blurred forward, slamming into its chest, the impact echoing like a bomb. The beast swiped back, its claws grazing his cape, but he countered with heat vision, slicing through its armor. The cavern shook, stalactites crashing, as the reactor's hum grew louder. Earth had minutes left. Tony's HUD flickered, decoding the reactor's core. "It's unstable. One good hit, and it's lights out for the swarm," he shouted, his nanotech suit forming a railgun. He fired, the blast grazing Zylax Prime, who blocked with a tentacle. Stark aimed true. Thor yelled, summoning a lightning storm that fried incoming drones, the mimics of his power faltering. Superman grabbed the war beast's tail, swinging it into the cavern wall, rubble exploding. "Clear the path," he barked. Zylax Prime's eyes flared, and the portal spewed more drones, their claws mimicking Superman's strength. One pinned Thor, its blades sparking against Mjolnir. "Foul creature!" Thor roared, breaking free with a thunderclap. Tony dodged a drone's plasma beam, his suit's thrusters failing. "Jarvis, divert everything to weapons." The suit glowed, nanotech forming a massive laser. Superman and Thor nodded, time for the final push. The trio attacked. Superman's fists, Thor's lightning, and Tony's laser hit the reactor's core. The orb cracked, energy leaking, but Zylax Prime lunged, its tentacles shielding it. "You fail," it screamed. Superman tore a tentacle off, I-core spraying. Thor's hammer struck Zylax Prime's core, staggering it. Tony fired again, the laser piercing the reactor. The cavern quaked, the portal flickering. The war beast charged, but Superman hurled it back, yelling, "Now, Stark!" Tony's suit overloaded, the laser's final blast hitting the core. A shockwave erupted, knocking the heroes back. Zylax Prime screeched as the reactor exploded, the portal collapsing. But the cavern was caving in. Earth's core was still destabilizing. The cavern was collapsing, rocks raining down as the Zylaxian reactor's explosion sent shockwaves through the Earth's core. Zylax Prime, battered and oozing I-core, roared, its remaining tentacles thrashing wildly. "You cannot stop the swarm," it bellowed, its glowing eyes dimming. Iron Man's suit flickered, nearly out of power. "Yeah, well, we just did," Tony Stark quipped, his voice strained. Thor spun Mjolnir, lightning crackling, while Superman hovered, eyes blazing. The planet had seconds before its core collapsed. The war beast, still alive, lunged from the rubble, its claws slashing. Superman met it head-on, grabbing its jaws and ripping them apart, the beast collapsing in a heap of sparking metal. "No more games," he growled. Thor hurled Mjolnir at Zylax Prime, the hammer smashing through its core, sending it reeling. Tony's hut screamed. The core's destabilization was accelerating. "We need to stabilize it now," he shouted, nanotech forming a desperate last-ditch device, a magnetic pulse generator. "Stark, what madness is this?" Thor bellowed, frying the last drones with a lightning burst. "It's science, big guy," Tony replied, planting the device in the reactor's ruins. Superman scanned it with X-ray vision. "It'll work, but we need to channel energy into it." He grabbed Thor's hammer, channeling its lightning, while Tony diverted his suit's remaining power. The device hummed, countering the core's collapse. Zylax Prime made one final lunge, its tentacles wrapping around Superman. "You die with your world," it hissed. Superman broke free, hurling it into the fading portal. Thor's lightning surged through the device, and Tony's generator pulsed, stabilizing the core. The cavern shook one last time, then stilled. Zylax Prime's scream faded as the portal collapsed, trapping it in oblivion. The heroes emerged in a battered Central Park, shield choppers circling. Nick Fury's voice crackled. "You maniacs pulled it off." Tony collapsed, his suit dead. "Send me the bill," he muttered. Thor laughed, clapping Superman's shoulder. "You fight well, Man of Steel." Superman smiled. "Not bad for a god and a genius." Above, the skies cleared, Earth saved. The world hailed them as heroes. Tony rebuilt his suit. Thor vowed to guard the realms, and Superman flew off, promising to return. The Zylaxian Swarm was gone, but the heroes knew other threats loomed. For now, Earth breathed free.